Well, now it is time for our top 5 segment, man. And this week it is top 5 favorite comedy films currently. So, we have these broad spectrums of top 5s. We've been doing this show for 276 episodes. So sometimes we're going to be recycling a little bit. Current day times, opinions change. So I'm very excited to talk about this because there are some current day comedies that are on our list, but then there's also the classics that we really enjoy that we can't take off the list. I mean, there's some on there that you're just like, no matter what, this is my number one. It's so freaking good.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start off with number 5, and I'm going to start off with The Instigators with Matt Damon and Casey Affleck. They was on Apple TV Plus. If you guys have not seen it, please be sure to do so. This one is freaking hilarious. I mean, it's like a crime comedy, and everybody just needs money. We know what that's like. We are trying to just get a quick hustle and make sure we have enough food at the end of the week. So that whole time, it was a great dialogue-driven story with a lot of good comedy. And I mean, they're boys. They go way back.
Yeah.
So I think you can really tell that they had amazing chemistry and that they did have a relationship offset. But I just really enjoyed this film more than I honestly thought I would. So if you guys haven't seen this film, please be sure to do so. It's called The Instigators on Apple TV Plus. Like I said, one of my favorite films of the year so far, honestly.
I'm right there with you. I absolutely thoroughly enjoyed this film. I thought it was hilarious. Damon is just epic in it, like he always is, and yeah. Casey Affleck for me is hit or miss. Sometimes he delivers and I'm like, man, this is like one of the best things I've ever seen. And then other times it's like, this guy's got no talent at all near his brother. So it's just like, if he could get consistent, I think he'd be like one of the greatest actors ever, but he's got to find a little bit of consistency.
I hated the Jesse James movie. Everybody talks about how they love that thing. I hate that movie. Even though I love Brad Pitt, but it's not good.
Totally. But this one is a really good movie, and I think that it helps that Casey, like you said, has chemistry with Damon, and they play off of each other really well. It's a really fun one. My number 5, also a crime comedy, if you will, and I've been talking about it literally just in this show, The Fall Guy. I'm one of the 4 people that went and saw it in the theaters, and and I watched it on Peacock because they have the extended version on Peacock. Guys, this is a really great, epic, comedic action comedy and a love story. And it's just like, and I'm not just talking about the love story between the characters. I'm talking about a love story for the industry and stuntmen and what they mean to the industry. This film is so fun, and it's got so many little twists and turns, and the acting is phenomenal. I mean, Gosling and Emily Blunt and just the entire cast is phenomenal. And why this didn't hit, I just do not know. But this is one of my favorite comedies, not just currently, but maybe of all time now. It's just a really fun, grab your popcorn, sit and have a kick-ass time type of a movie. And if you haven't seen it, see it. Because you'll be happy that you did. Gosling and Blunt kill it in this movie. Their chemistry is like on fire, literally, and they're so fun together. They're so cute together. I can't rave enough about this one, The Fall Guy. And if you're old like me and fan of the show that this is based on, stick around towards the very end because you get a little visit from Lee Majors and Heather Thomas. So you get a payoff at the end there. Fall Guy, man, number 5.
I know, it's so funny. You would have thought that thing would have been a sure thing after Oppenheimer and Barbie.
Exactly.
It's absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. Number 4 for me is another Apple TV Plus movie. It's The Family Plan with Mark Wahlberg.
Yes.
I think Mark Wahlberg is one of the most consistent actors in Hollywood. Even if the film is not as big of a budget, as big of a blockbuster, but he is one of the most consistent actors, in my opinion. Even Father Stu, which not a lot of people like because of the religious aspect. Yeah, I loved it too. I cried during it.
Me too.
Great movie.
And can I just tell you real quick before you go back to The Family Plan? I watched the cleaned up version. Fucking hated it.
Yeah. It's not real.
It's not real. Exactly. So yeah, I'm with you though. I love that movie. Okay, back to the family.
And the family plan, basically, where the dad is a spy and his family has no idea, and it's freaking hilarious. And they meet their grandpa, who is this freaking this big baddie villain, and yeah, it's just really funny. It's a lot of driving in mom's minivan type thing,
Yeah.
and shooting out the windows. So yeah, it was really good. Again, another one of my favorites of this past year. Number 4 for me, The Family Plan.
I'm right there with you. I fucking loved this movie, and the other one that he did about adopting the one when it was Rose Byrne and him, and they adopted the kids.
Yeah.
He's doing really well with
Instant
these
Family.
Yeah, he's doing well with these family movies, and the reason I brought that up is because in The Family Plan, again, the kids are phenomenal actors. The way they play off of Wahlberg in this film is freaking just phenomenal, and his chemistry with Rachel McAdams is off the charts in this movie. It's a little steamy. It gets a little. And this is a good one. I had a blast with this one. And he's fun to watch when he's playing a nerdy guy, if you will.
Yeah, he is.
The way he was freaking out about the selfies and the camera, and he's trying to be all good, but he's not. He's hilarious when he's playing that type of a character, and it's just, it's so good. It's so good.
Give full credit to Will Ferrell for bringing him into the comedy space with the other guys.
Oh,
he really helped him out.
Yeah, and if you liked The Family Plan, check out the one with Halle Berry on Netflix too. It's escaping me off the top of my. But again, another where he kind of plays a nerdy guy that they want to be a kick-ass guy, but he has to learn how to be a kick-ass. It's funny as shit, and it's a really good movie as well. My number 4 is an actual hit. He's the go-to guy in Hollywood right now, and rumors have it he turned down People magazine. I don't know if that's true or not. But anyway, talking about the hitman himself, Glenn Powell, and his movie, Hitman. I don't even know where this thing was just epic from start to finish. It's based on a real guy. It's a true story. And then, of course, they took some liberties because you do with movies. But it's just brilliant. Again, he's this just normal guy that is forced into the role of pretending to be a hitman, who becomes a hitman, and it's just, I don't know. I am a huge fan of this man. I think his range and the different characters that he's been able to pull off, all successfully in these different types of movies, have been huge. And this movie really worked for me. I liked the whole pacing of it. I thought it was entertaining. It had some twists that you didn't see coming. Excuse me, which I like. I like movies that make you think. And I'm normally pretty good at figuring it out way before they want you to. But there was a couple in there that I missed, which had me excited. Because then I had to watch it again. So yeah, my number 4, Hitman. If you guys haven't seen this one, highly recommend it. Entertaining as hell.
Yeah, and like you said, based off a real guy, and Glenn Powell is the number 1 guy in Hollywood, like you said. So I think it was very successful. And if you guys haven't seen, Twisters is out right now on Peacock, so be sure to check that out if you guys have not.
And what's his female co-star? Adorna Georgia. It's the one who's like in a bunch of stuff that, and she's being the one most rumored for the new Wonder Woman. Yeah. She's also like a go-to A-lister in Hollywood right now, and their chemistry was off the charts. So, boom.
Completely agreed, man. Completely agreed. Well, my number 3, I'm going back to an oldie but a goodie, an oldie within the last 15 years. And I'm talking about Wedding Crashers with Vince Vaughn, Owen Wilson, Isla Fisher, Bradley Cooper, and so Rachel McAdams. Like, this is a freaking phenomenal film. Christopher Walken, like, so many great freaking actors and actresses in this project, and it's so freaking funny. I think buddy comedies can have the potential to be great romantic comedies. So, it's like their backdoor romantic comedy.
Oh, without doubt.
And like, it was so freaking good. There's still so many quotable lines. Will Ferrell's in it. Mom, where's the meatloaf? What is she doing back there? Like, I mean, it's so many things. Yeah, I mean, I was about to do a bit. Oh my God. You motorboat, you son of a bitch, you. Oh my God. I love this movie so much. I watched it so many times with my brothers growing up, and it's always a classic. I had Emily watch it for the first time a couple years ago, and she thought it was hilarious. So, yeah,
Really?
it's one of those that I can definitely put on anytime and just sit down and watch it. So,
Agreed.
number three for me, Wedding Crashers.
I love that. And yeah, everything about that film is there's not a single moment that you're not laughing at something.
Yeah,
Right,
for
which is
real.
rare. Even in a really good comedy, you usually get a moment where it wasn't funny. But this
Yeah.
one, no, from start to finish, it's like an episode of Big Bang Theory. You are laughing from start to finish, like you
Right.
can't help it. My number three, it's a new one. It's just recently out, and I'll be honest about it. Okay, the only reason I was even giving it a chance is because I didn't see a whole lot about it. I saw the trailer briefly when I went to go see a different movie, but I was all in because I love Aubrey Plaza. A huge fan. I think she just slays in everything she's in. She's quirky, she's original, she's real. And I'm like, I'm gonna go watch it. My old ass, fucking hilarious. Everything about Aubrey Plaza clicks in this movie. She and the young girl that's playing the younger version of her, brilliant as well. Does an amazing job. And so if you don't know what this is, it's about this young girl who's coming of age, and she's like confused about where she is in life and what she's thinking about, what she's doing. And it's her birthday, and she's on this island with her friends, and they're kind of celebrating, even though her family wants her back at the house with the cake and everything. And they hit the shrooms, and they get pretty fucked up, and they've never done them before, so they're hallucinating, and they're like, oh yeah. And so basically, her older self appears. And she thinks it's a hallucination from the shrooms, but then the shrooms wear off and she's still there. And so she starts to tell her about things going on later in life, and starts to kind of maybe lay the groundwork for a few warnings here or there about, don't do this. You might not want to do that. Take the chance on this kind of a thing. And it's just the way it plays out. And even though it's comedic, the serious nature in which the story is being told, it's perfect for Aubrey because she's so fucking just weird. So when she's doing these things or having these conversations, you're just all in on it because you're like, what is she doing? And you can't like take your eyes off of her. She's just so, I love her to death. So it's funny. It's a really great coming of age movie. It's a nice little romantic story, kind of interluding back and forth in between and everything. So if you like just a good, not family friendly, this is not a family friendly comedy. But if you're all in on just a fun, quirky comedy with a little bit of everything mixed into it, I highly recommend this one. I think it's even streaming now, because I'm gonna watch it again on streaming. I saw that it popped up. I think it's on Prime, and you don't have to rent it. I mean, it's available on Prime. My old ass. It's funny as shit, bro.
That's hilarious. I love that. I love that. Well, number two for me is Anyone But You, with two of Hollywood's big things right now. Of course, Sydney Sweeney and then Glenn Powell.
That guy.
A lot of critical like hate towards this film, but the box office did not lie. Okay, people went and saw this film, and they also saw it on Netflix a lot when it started to hit the streamer. It's hilarious, man. It's honestly one of my favorite comedies of all time. And we had the cinematographer from this film
We did.
on our podcast. So be sure to check out that interview. But yeah, I loved it. I mean, shooting in Sydney, Australia, I thought it was a beautiful backdrop to this hilarious story. And it's always, I'm just going to be honest about it, it's always so appealing to watch beautiful people fall in love. I'm not going to lie. You just want to watch beautiful people fall in love every second of every day. So yeah, there it is. Anyone But You.
They are really fucking beautiful people.
Yeah, the
both of them are.
Really
I don't
jealous.
care. I'm confident
really
enough in my manhood to say that Glenn Powell is a good-looking man. Okay, fuck it. I mean, he's a good-looking man.
He is white girl fit. I mean, he did not do cardio and he had to swim, but he is white girl fit.
He is. He's to be fair and honest. He's not like. I mean, he's defined, but he is not ripped. He is not full of muscles. He is an in shape, good-looking man.
Yeah.
So and I mean, obviously, she's hot as shit. So I mean, like, I think any guy alive that has a pulse thinks Nisrini is attractive.
Without a doubt.
Duh. My number 2. I cannot emphasize this enough. It's like my number 5 in the sense that you would have thought this was a no-brainer, going to be a massive box office hit. It's another one where I think I'm only one of 4 people who saw it in the theaters. And I don't understand. John Krasinski, Ryan Reynolds, Steve Carell, Lou Gossett Jr. Massive cast failed epically at the box office. I don't get it. It's if. This thing, it's a comedy. I cried like a gazillion times. The story during it is, and don't get me wrong, you laugh hysterically because the imaginary friends, especially Steve Carell with the big purple guy, fucking funny as shit. I mean, throughout. And the quirkiness with Ryan Reynolds and the back and forth with Krasinski, it clicks on every level comedically. But it's a very touching story about a little girl who loses her mom and now her dad is sick. And she's afraid he's going to die. And so the arrival of the imaginary friends, and her purpose is to try to help find all of these imaginary friends and reconnect them with their kids. Right. Because they're reappearing, as far as she thinks, because their kids no longer need them, and she wants to reconnect all of the kids with them. That's kind of the basic thing. And it's just it's amazing. It's a remarkable story, family friendly, hugely family friendly, that moves on every level, and nobody saw it. And I'm so disappointed because Krasinski, by the way, guys, Krasinski is a brilliant fucking filmmaker. This guy is a hell of a director and writer and storyteller. And then you pepper in Ryan Reynolds, like I said, and it's the last performance of Lou Gossett Jr. and his character. He is an imaginary friend in it, but it's a very pivotal character in the storyline, and kind of a sending tribute to him, to send him off. I can't say it enough. You guys should totally see this movie. Just if. I wish I had an answer to the if they had done this or if they had done that, it would have been better at the box office. Right. I don't know. But just please see this movie. My number 2, if.
Yes. Fantastic, man. Fantastic. A lot of your films are within the last 2 years.
I tried. I was like, because I do, like you said, I have mine that I'm like, this one is always going to be my go-to, right? Like, but there were a lot of really good movies over the last couple of years that I feel like didn't get enough love. So I'm peppering them with love.
Exactly. Who says comedy is dead?
Exactly.
Comedy's not dead.
Exactly.
But number 1 for me goes to Superbad. Oh my goodness, I love this film. Just the craziness that is high school, right? Just getting yourself into a whole bunch of shit, and you feel like you can't come back from it. But guess what? You're just a kid. It's all good. Yes. You're gonna make mistakes. You're gonna have fun. You're gonna get a little crazy, and that's just a part of life. And that's what this film is. Seth Rogen and his writing partner were working on this film for years. This is literally the first thing they ever produced, or one of the first things they ever produced, and it's still one of the biggest comedies of all time. And this is the jump start to Jonah Hill in this film. And I mean, it's still early days for adult Seth Rogen. I don't want to say for his career in general, because he was in Freaks and Geeks, but I mean, this started his career as a creator rather than just an actor. And I loved everything about it. I mean, you got McLovin, you have freaking Bill Hader, I think that's his name. From Damn it, now I forget his show too. But you guys know who he is as cops, and they were hilarious. And yeah, just the film is one of my all-time favorites. So be sure to check out Superbad if you haven't, and if you haven't, you've been living under a rock. So
Oh,
yes, my number one.
I totally agree with everything you just said. It's an absolutely brilliant movie. It's a very specific genre of comedy, you know, and it kind of spawned a lot of those type movies, honestly.
Yeah.
But that's a signal as to how good it was, because you don't try to copy or, you know, something unless it's really good. And yeah, this is like, I'm with you. If you haven't seen this one, what the fuck?
Crazy.
Like crawl out from underneath and go see it. My number one, I was hugely surprised by, and in a good way. This was Jennifer Lawrence's return vehicle, if you will. She had taken some time off and had the kid, and like, you know, was doing life. But then, you know, this was her kind of comeback movie, if you will. And No Hard Feelings is the one I'm talking about. And guys, if you saw the trailer, if you saw all the commercials, all the marketing, they were billing it as a raunchy comedy in the vein of an American Pie, or, you know, it's a sex-filled escapade of just raunch, adult humor kind of thing. No! It wasn't even close to raunchy or anything like that. This is an actually very moving, touching, cute rom-com with a very endearing love story, and I was blown away. I was like really pleasantly surprised. There's a couple of comedic moments that they could use to grab for the raunchy marketing that they were trying to fool you with. But when you see it in the context of the full scene in the movie, it's not raunchy at all. It's a part of something else. And this is just a really amazing, cute, romantic comedy with a very endearing storyline with a young guy that's just socially awkward and doesn't know his place in life. And then her character is trying to figure out, you know, she's a grown-up, but maybe hasn't done everything right, and she isn't quite where she wants to be in life. And so they're just two different people coming from two different places trying to figure out who they are and where they want to be. And it's brilliant, and I'm just gonna say it. And Jennifer Lawrence has been in like amazing shit, all kinds of stuff, and she is, you know, there's no question to her talent. This might be my favorite role.
Oh, wow.
Like, legitimately, just, she's very endearing. I buy every second of this character and her compassion for the younger guy, and where she's at in life, and the mishaps of what so many of us go through when we're trying to figure it out at that age, kind of a thing. I'm all in. And yeah, I cannot say enough about this film. No Hard Feelings. And I know everybody is like, oh, but the scene. Yes, there is a full frontal nude scene with Jennifer Lawrence on a beach whooping some kid's ass, and it's really her. She didn't use a stunt double. She didn't use a body double. Really. And good for her, because she looked amazing. And so to come back from having the kid and do all the kind of, and she was like, nah, you don't need no body double. I'm going to raw doll this and do it. Fucking great. It's a great scene, by the way. The context behind it. And yeah, just the whole thing. No Hard Feelings. Perfect.
Well, there it is, guys. Oh my goodness, that's our favorite comedies as of right now. Be sure to comment below in the YouTube comment section, or Twitter, X, Threads, all the good places. Be sure to let us know what your favorite comedy is. Please be sure. We love the fan interaction. It's always a whole bunch of fun.